This lesson is on variables and expressions, and in order to evaluate an algebraic expression, you must replace each variable with its numerical value and then use the orders of operations to simplify. So for my first example, the question asks you to evaluate 6 times x. Notice how I'm reading that as 6 times x. When a variable is next to a number without any operation in between, you automatically assume that you multiply. So 6 times x minus 7 if x equals 8. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take 8 and I'm going to plug it in for my variable x. Okay, so I'm going to say, what is 6 times 8? Again, when there's a variable next to a number, you have to assume that it's just multiplication, and then minus 7. Okay, then I have to think back to orders of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So there are no parentheses, there are no exponents. There is multiplication though, so I'm going to say 6 times 8 is 48. Bring down what I haven't used, and 48 minus 7 equals 41. So my next example is to evaluate 5 times m minus 3 times n if m is 6 and n is 5. So again, when a variable is right next to a number, I assume that it's multiplication. So I'm going to say, what 5 times 6 minus 3 times 5. Notice I'm just plugging in 6 in for m and 5 in for n. So I have to think of orders of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, there's no parentheses, there's no exponents, there is multiplication. So I'm going to work my way from left to right, so I'm going to do the multiplication farthest left. So I'm going to say 5 times 6 is 30, and then I'm going to bring down what I haven't used. Now I do still have another multiplication sign, so I can do this multiplication next. I can say 3 times 5 is 15. Bring down what I haven't used. I'm left with one operation, so I can just do the subtraction of 30 minus 15 to make 15. My next example is evaluating AB, or A times B, divided by, that fraction bar means divided by 3. So A times B divided by 3 if A equals 7 and B equals 6. So A times B, so I'm going to write 7 times 6, and I'm going to use the fraction bar, divided by 3. That's what I'm actually solving here. So if you have a problem like this with a fraction bar or with division, you always want to take care of what's on top of our fraction bar first, and then you can do your division. So I'm going to first solve 7 times 6, which equals 42, and then I'm going to rewrite the fraction bar with 3. So then I'm left with only one operation of 42 divided by 3. Again, I took care of what's on top of my numerator of my fraction, or what's on top of my fraction bar. 7 times 6 is 42, and then 42 divided by 3 is 14. So that's how to solve an expression that has a fraction bar, and a fraction bar is the same as a division sign. Now my last example, so I'm going to evaluate x cubed, or x to the third power, plus 4 if x equals 3. So I'm going to substitute my 3 in for x here. So I'm going to say 3 to the third power, 3 cubed, plus 4. So 3 to the third power, I have to, well, let's think back to orders of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. There's no parentheses, but there is an exponent. So 3 to the third power, so I have to think 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times, so 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. And then I'm going to bring down everything I haven't used. So 27 plus 4 is 31. So my answer is 31. And that wraps up the lesson on variables and expressions.